everybody, my name's Sophie. For all of you that don't know, I am a mum of two, Oliver who is 6 years old and Ivy who is 4 months. So today, as you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be speaking about cleft palates, what they are, how they're caused, treatments, other things that can happen while they have their cleft palate. So if you do have any questions, please leave a comment down below or message me. Please share, like, subscribe, all of that. Big thumbs up, that'll be fantastic. So let's get into the video. So what is a cleft palate? A cleft palate is a hole, an opening that is between your nasal passage and the roof of your mouth. Now this can be anywhere from the back of the throat to the tip of your soft palate, all the way to the gum line. And sometimes if the child does have a cleft lip, then it will go through the gum line and through the lip. So between 6 to 10 weeks this would occur. So in between that time, between 6 to 10 weeks, everything has a structure. Everything happens at a certain time in your pregnancy, at a certain day in your pregnancy. And for whatever reason, that was put on hold that day. And there's no sort of going back to that. Once that time has passed, our bodies wouldn't go back and think, oh, there's something missing there, let's go and fix that. If it doesn't happen at that time, that's when it will happen. So if you look at our bodies as if we are sewn down the middle, and if you run your tongue from your teeth all the way back to the back of your throat, you can feel like a groove. It will feel like in the middle, and it's kind of basically where we're sewn together. It's the same as if up here you've got that little bit. That is basically where we are sewn together in the middle, and that's where it can occur that the hole would be present. So that's basically how it happens. There is no reason or rhyme to it. Sometimes it can be genetic. So if I or another family member has suffered with a cleft, that might be the reason why your child is born with a cleft. But for me, no one in my family that we know of has got a cleft in any type of way. So for us, there is actually no reason, and they have explained that sometimes it just happens because it happens, and that's the way it is. So the things that can get affected because of the cleft are speech, which I think is a given, really. So we was told that when Ivy would start speaking, there'd be certain words that she probably wouldn't be able to pronounce properly. So for instance, mama should be fine, but dada would have been harder for her because of the muscles in the soft palate that pronounce the word duh. So it would more likely come out like gaga instead of dada, but mama should be fine. Now, when she's had her surgery, she will obviously need some speech therapy, and that will basically teach her how to use her palate now that it's fixed. So she will need to have speech therapy to learn how to use that and be able to pronounce dada and words that maybe she would find difficult in saying. Other things that it can affect is your your ears. So it can cause Ivy to have quite a lot of ear infections. Touch wood, she's not had any so far. She did pass her ear test when she was born, which was funny because her brother didn't. But then when he got tested again, he was fine. And she will be tested again at 8 months, and they will just keep checking it because it can cause her to get glue ear. And that could affect her for quite a while. We was told that it would probably sort itself out and rectify itself by the time she is 5, but she may need to have grommets and things like that. But like I said, at the moment, touch wood, nothing's happened with her hearing so far. It can also affect your eyes in certain ways. and that's understandable because obviously everything is all connected in your face. And so far, again, nothing like that has happened with Ivy's eyesight. Another thing that it can affect is obviously their eating. So with Ivy, she is on a bottle still, and she does need to have a special bottle, which I will go through feeding properly with you on another video. I will show you her bottles and how they work. But she cannot have a normal Tommy Tippy bottle or Avent bottle or any other branded bottles that there are. We did try a MAM bottle because some babies with clefts seem to do really well on those bottles, but Ivy just could not use it. We did try, but she just can't suck. So that is another thing that is affected. And when she does drink, milk will come out of her nose, so she has to be sat upright when she's feeding. And obviously when she starts eating, food could come out of her nose as well. As she gets older, it could be when she's having spaghetti and she sneezes or might swallow it a funny way, then it could come out of her nose. And she does seem to not be bothered by it. At times she can get upset because obviously we're constantly then wiping her nose and it can get sore. So that is something that is affected. And going back to feeding as well, like I said, Ivy cannot suck because the hole in the mouth and the nose, she just cannot suck. So things like straws, she just wouldn't be able to use right now. And she will be, hopefully, once she's had her palate operation and learns how to do that. But it goes down to sippy cups. I was looking at sippy cups the other day, and most of them that you have to suck the water out because they're anti-spill, but she can't suck out of them. So it's very hard to try and find a bottle for a 4-month-old for her to have some boiled water when she can't suck. But we will get there. So the last thing it can cause is breathing issues. So Ivy is quite loud when she breathes. She's very noisy, especially when she's eating or she's due a bottle. Her nasal passage can get very dry. So she does this like snort, but it's like a dry snort. And there's times where I take her to the doctors and they can hear her breathing like that and they get quite worried, but I have to then assure them that that is very normal for Ivy. She seems to be okay with her breathing at the moment. There's been a couple of times where I've worried about it, but it seems okay. The only times where I'm really worried about her breathing actually is more when she's having silent reflux. So that isn't part of having a cleft, but it doesn't help. So Ivy does have silent reflux and it's quite bad. She's on medication for it. So this has nothing really to do with the cleft, but in terms of her having her cleft, when she is like asleep at night, sometimes the reflux obviously comes up, and it could just be her saliva not sick, and it makes her saliva very stringy, and I mean very stringy. Like I could hold my hand sort of this far away from her face and it's still attached to her mouth. It's very stringy. And so she could start choking on her own saliva, but the problem is it gets stuck between her nose and her mouth, so she really can't even breathe through her nose. So that can be quite scary, and I have to sit her up and I have to literally pull this saliva out of her mouth. And so, like I said, it is really scary, and I worry, and it stops me from sleeping most nights because obviously I'm frightened that I'll be asleep when she has an episode. But they're the only times that I'm actually worried about her breathing, and I have been told that hopefully when she starts eating that will calm down, and that is all of the things that it can cause. So treatment. So like I've said throughout the video, Ivy will be having an operation to get that sorted. It will be a 2 to 3 hour operation where she'll be put under general anaesthetic, and they will put the basically either side of the palate together and just close that hole. Sometimes if it hasn't got like enough sort of, I guess, elasticity, they will put a hole either side of the palate so that it can sort of stretch to be closed, but then obviously those 2 holes then need to be closed up. Time in hospital, they say around 1 to 2 nights. Most babies are discharged after 24 hours, but they say make sure you pack for 2 just in case, and because it is going to be in St Thomas's, it isn't just around the corner for us, so we will be packing for 2 days. I don't know too much about everything that's going to happen in surgery just yet, because we still haven't really had the appointment to talk about her surgery. I just know a few little details about it, but once I know more about surgery, then I will let you know. Recovery seems to well, from what I've been told, is supposed to be really good. Ivy does have a dummy. Sadly, because when she was put in NICU, they gave her a dummy to help soothe her. But they do recommend that babies with a cleft don't have a dummy, because when they have surgery, they're not allowed to have their dummy afterwards, because they don't want the stitches obviously coming open. I've got a feeling that it's going to be a bit hard work after she has her surgery and she's not allowed to have her dummy. Also, they do sometimes give you some mittens for their hands to stop their elbows bending, so they can't put their hands in their mouth. Again, Ivy puts her hands in her mouth, so I think she's going to be having that as well, and I can imagine she's going to hate that. So I'm not looking forward to it for obvious reasons and for those reasons. So looking forward, after surgery, there's not normally anything else that they need. It tends to be pretty standard after that. They seem to not have any problems other than having some speech therapy. They seem to be able to live a normal, happy life. Ivy will be under St Thomas's until she is 20, which I think is absolutely amazing. They will be keeping an eye on her throughout that time, but also there might be something that maybe she's not happy with when she's a bit older that maybe I won't notice, or her dad or anyone else will notice, but she might feel unhappy about it. And it could be anything like speech, certain things and ways that she says things. So she will be able to go back up to St Thomas's when she is older and talk about things that maybe she's not happy with. But I'm hoping that she will still be happy with everything once it's done and won't need anything else. And they basically can live normal, happy lives. So that is everything about clefts. I'm sure there's loads more that I will learn on my way, and if I do, I will definitely update you. At the moment, I'm looking at doing something in May, because it will be Cleft Awareness Week from the 2nd to the 10th of May. I'm thinking about doing something, but I'm not sure what. So if you have any ideas, please let me know. Tough Mudders are going to be no good for me. I am not someone that can pull myself over a big giant wall, but if you've got inflatable runs or bubble runs or anything like that, I will definitely do that. If you have any ideas, let me know. Tea mornings, I might set up a GoFundMe page, and if I do, I will let you know so that you might be able to donate if you have any spare money, just to go towards the charity Clapper, which is for cleft lip and palate children and adults and anybody else that suffers with any type of cleft. So I will be doing that, and I will keep you updated. I will do some more videos. I will show you her feeding, I will show you her bottles. So if you really like what you're seeing, please subscribe, like, share, give me a big thumbs up, and I will love any comments or questions that you have. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day. Mwah!